Hello humans, welcome back to part 2 of Secret 30. Let's start right where we left off. So this video unfortunately has no introduction, but welcome back. As you can see, I am still busy with the second eye here. I have to tell you that I was struggling and procrastinating a lot with the eyes. I was very nervous as I had not done a portrait of this size in a few years, so I was actually quite nervous when doing the eyes. So yeah, that's why you can see in the last video I was talking a whole lot, and I know a lot of people got very much annoyed, but that was just the process, you know. Part of me sharing this and sharing this on my channel is for you to understand that doing art, it's not just like that. You know, you always see the videos on YouTube and Instagram where you see the whole time lapse of someone, you know, doing something amazing like this, like, oh my goodness, who would think to use purple in there, you know? So you'll always see this happening and you think, oh, okay, someone just sat down and did it in a day. No! This whole thing happened over like 3 months. This is 30 hours that I fitted into 3 months, and I eventually started getting inflammation in my elbow. I started developing a golf elbow. My shoulder muscles were so tense that I had to go to physiotherapy. I could not move my elbow straight because of this, and I was about drawing between 2 to 6 hours a day. My average was 4 hours a day, 3-4 hours, but on a good day I could draw 6 to 8 hours, but then, you know, I am exhausted. I am completely exhausted. I pass out, and you know, it's hard work, and you know, trying to get all of these colors right, you need a lot of focus. You can't just pick any color. You need to decide, okay, which color do I need to put on next? And when you're layering like this, you have to realize when you come to a certain point, if you add too many layers, it gets waxy. And then you can't add any more layers because the color is not going to take, because there's too much oil in the paper already. So any color that you then try to deposit just slips off. So you would see that it comes to a point where I would see, oh no, I want this part a little bit lighter, but then the color doesn't want to deposit anymore because it's too waxy. So then I would maybe take a brighter shade to try and get it, like you know, to try and just get it to the point that I wanted, or a darker shade to try and get it there, and that's how you eventually get the shading you want. Okay, angle switch. This is probably another session. So over here you probably can't see what I'm doing, but what I was trying to do is create that kind of see-through transparent part around the lens, around the iris of the eye, where the iris and the white part, the sclera, meets. Usually if you look in the mirror and you see there's this kind of transparent layer where they connect, and it's not blue, it's not white, it's like a mix of the two. So I was trying to just create a watered down feeling of that, you know, that transition for you guys, as well as maybe just putting in a little bit of details, accenting some of the colors, making it look a little bit deeper. And you know, I always have to take down my paper, and then I have to compare the two eyes to see if I'm getting it right, if the shadows are similar to the picture. And at the end, my mistake that I feel like I made, the right eye was smaller, like was open smaller, and the left eye was open bigger, and the right eye's iris I made bigger, and the left eye's iris I made smaller. So the eyes looked quite different, but I mean, on the picture it's like that as well. That is how it came out on the trace. So I do what I see, and it would look funny to you, but that is how it looks in the picture, you know. Great, so here I'm starting with the brow. I decided with the first brow, I just went in with a brown and then adding the hairs and then the skin tone after the hair made the hair smudge a lot. So I went in with a very light skin tone and then in with the hair and then again with the skin tone. I start with a medium brown just to get the shape right. Me and my sister's eyebrows are quite similar, so I actually just know from memory how her eyebrows looks. And there you see, as you go in with the skin tone again, it just smudges everything. So that's why I leave the darkest color for last, and then I go over with that again. And eventually I'm going to come in with a little brush and just put some fine detailed hairs in there. And then I go back and forth to the different brows to just make sure that they're even. And now that the brow is there, I'm actually able to do the rest of the shading and, you know, make that arch of the brow bone and make sure that it does look round and it makes the corner at the right place. You know, you don't want to put too much shading in, you know, at the wrong place. So you can see the brows are different there. The one on your right is a bit lighter and less, I mean, I don't know, it looks different. The one on the left looked a lot darker. It's closed now though. So here I realized, oh my goodness, the eyeballs are different sizes. So I was trying to, I guess, get the blue a little bit bigger and darker and just try and get the lid to maybe, I think, look like it's closed a little bit more. I mean, I tried my best, but since everything's already laid down, you can't change too much. I extended the lashes on that side. The light was shining on the right. I think that's why it looks a little bit more dull. But at the end, I did add lashes to that side as well. I just loved going back in with finer details each and every time, and you know, just you try not to, when you're at this part, like, you just tell yourself, just leave the details alone, go on with the rest, and then come back with the details, because you're always going to come back with the smaller details. As you see the contrast of the shadows with the hood and everything, and the scarf and the colors matching with the scarf, then you want to bring out some highlights that's in the scarf or in the eyes to match everything. Oh, it's such a difficult process, guys. Here I go with the skin around again, and then I decide, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna continue now. Great stuff. So, yo, guys, what do you think? I would like for you guys to leave some comments and tell me, what do you think of this drawing? Do you think I could have done better? Would you have maybe followed a different technique than I was using with the whole layering? How would you have done it differently? And what do you think is cool about this? What is your favorite part of this drawing? How are you enjoying it? And would you appreciate it if one of your family members got you a self-portrait for your birthday? I mean, what would it mean to you, you know? It's, I don't know, for me, I really try, once I draw, I don't want to just draw when I'm in a random mood. I make a point of, for the whole time that I draw, whether it's over a month's time or in a day, I always try to envision the person of whom the portrait is. Or if it's not a portrait, say it's a landscape or some type of art, I always ask a client, what is the feeling that you want to carry over, or what is the vibe that you want to show, you know? I feel like a drawing like this has an emotional aura, and when you sit and you draw, you want to be in that emotional aura. So this specific drawing, I wanted to shine peace, strength, innocence, but fierceness. I wanted it to be just like a definition of my sister sometimes. She's fierce, man. She is fierce. She is a difficult person to deal with, but she is so so beautiful. Like, honestly, sometimes I can't even comprehend the things she is capable of, the things she does, and you won't hear from her for like a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, like she just throws out a whole bunch of work, and you see her, get things right and move forward, and she's just a really, really hard worker. And that's why I wanted to work so hard on this drawing, because I wanted to I'm looking for the word, I can't find the word. I wanted to capture her as a person in this, and that's why I needed to work hard and get the shading and stuff perfect, because I don't know, she's just this perfect little ball of happiness sometimes, and I wanted you to see that in the painting. Great. So what's happening there? I'm putting in some reds, trying to get the shadow over there. Great. Sometimes it's really difficult to get the 3D-ness in there. You don't always have the correct colors. I ended up going to the store and I ended up buying some extra colors, because even overlapping as many different colors, you don't always get the results that you want. So I ended up buying more pencils for this project, and that's part of art. I mean, this set of pencils I got as a present, I think 3 or 4, maybe in 5 years ago, I don't know. And your collection grows as you do projects, as I do more portraits, I definitely will be buying more skin tone pencils, and I want to buy different kinds of pencils. I want a less soft, so a harder lead eventually as well. And I'm starting to experiment with oil paints now. I recently got a request to try and do a Renaissance type oil painting, so I want to start practicing that. That's really interesting, how this little portrait is inviting people to ask me questions and challenging me to try and grow my talent and expand my style of doing things and my mediums that I use. It's really exciting. I love doing projects like this because it really just opens doors to you, Okay. Hope that you guys are enjoying this video so far. I really love just how it came out. It's really brilliant. So somehow the recording of me doing this whole section disappeared. I thought I recorded. I think I did. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But yeah, I just did this section. It took me about, say, 30-ish minutes. It said 42 on the camera. That's why I think it did record. Because where else would the 42 come from? So I don't know. But yeah, this section just happened. Alright, so over here I am just busy doing the underside of the eye on that little cheek area there, and I wanted to show you a different angle. I wanted you to see me drawing, maybe just a little bit of the expression on my face. I wanted you to also see how I start losing weight towards the end of a project, because it's me just sitting for 4 to 6 hours a day, you know, sitting and drawing. I forget to eat. I'll snack on some nuts, but it's really hard focus. And here I'm sitting for like an hour or two in one, and you need to figure out, where does it need to get darker, where does it need to get more smooth, where do I want some highlights, and where do I need some lowlights. And then as I have like the whole eye section, I go back into the eyes, and then I put detail in again, and I try to make that left eyeball smaller again and that right eyeball bigger again. And I really try to just get it as symmetrical as possible in reference with the picture and with the idea of the person in my head. You know, I want to make it as realistic as possible, and sometimes you end up going back and back and back and doing the details over and over and over again. Because the more small details you find and you do, the more lifelike the eyes become, and it becomes, it's crazy. You don't think of the eye having life as you're sitting there. All you think, you look and you see, oh, there's a little white dot. It needs a white dot there. Oh no, it needs some more blue. I want more purple here. I need darkness over here. This is too dark. Why is this too dark? What color is the undertone over here? Why is this darkness not looking right? Is it too dark, or is it the wrong color? You know, you think all of these things. And it came to the forehead. Now this was quite a difficult part for me because it was very light. And you had to get it very even. As you can see on the photo there, it's very light, and it's just basically a shine, and there's quite a lot of exposure in the photo. And I wanted to get the lightness of it because I wanted it to be majestical. But I also needed to take into consideration that the palette that I am using is not exactly the same color as the photo, and I needed to have it match the rest of my shading. So the lightest parts will be the same color as on the cheekbones and the brow bones. I didn't want to make it too light, you know, and then it just looks like the forehead is separate from the face, you know. It needed to still blend, and I needed to get the shadow in and get the shapes right. I kind of also left some of the shadowing for last, so this is not the whole forehead. I did continue with the rest of the forehead way at the last when I did the negative space. You know, I didn't want to go in with the darker colors before doing all of the whites because I was really afraid that everything was going to smudge. So I did really leave a lot of it for the end. Right, I am going towards the end here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a big like and stay tuned for part 3. I really enjoy doing portraits, and I really enjoy recording all of this for you guys. So I hope that you enjoyed, and yeah, please like, give it a big subscribe, and have a really good day, guys. Bye.